allergies are immunological reactions to the proteins in particular foods. And why some children have food allergies and others don't is a matter of genetic susceptibility plus environmental exposure.
Michael basically takes a mouthful or a bite of whatever you might be allergic to, and usually he vomits within about the first 30 seconds, and then he starts to swell. So you know definitely within 5 minutes that he has eaten something which he shouldn't have, and that the signs that he has are very definite.
He's had one experience that he remembers about when he was 3 years old. That was the last time he had an anaphylactic reaction. We were visiting some friends and they put out some chips that had there was sour cream and chive chips, and a 3-year-old doesn't differentiate between a plain chip, which he can have, and a flavoured chip, which of course he couldn't have. As soon as we arrived, the chips were put out. He was into the chips, had it, and immediately started to choke. And it was horrifying for us, but of course thankfully we had the medication with us, which is just so important to always carry the medication with us wherever we go. We administered the adrenaline and we called the ambulance, because of course he has to have the emergency situation. It always happens away from home, and that is the statistics.
First of all, the thing that surprises most parents is that the reaction occurs mostly the first time they come in contact with the food. Very occasionally it will be on the third occasion when they've had the food, or the second or third occasion, but it's nearly always the first time. And most of the first reactions occur in the first 2 years of life, and very commonly under the age of 1 year. And they're very frightening reactions because they happen within minutes of the child coming into contact with the food. By far and away, most parents recognise that it's where the food comes in contact with the skin, and this is usually around the mouth. The reactions can be mild, and they can just involve a few hives around the mouth or redness and swelling, or it can involve more parts of the face. The eyes can swell, and sometimes there can be so much swelling around the eyes that they can shut like the slits, and the ears can swell as well. And we'd regard that as a fairly mild reaction. But the reaction then can also spread to involve the rest of the body. But it can then involve the airways, and the child can have trouble breathing, or it can spread throughout the whole body, and they can break out in hives all over. And when the reaction does spread like that, it can be very dangerous because the breathing can be so badly affected that they can suffocate, or that the swelling can be so much they can lose so much fluid from their circulation that they can go into collapse and shock.